he just became the Joker.
Turned me into a reenactment of Tim Burton's Batman, bro. This is crazy. Gaming season is here, and one game making some waves is a title called Lies of P. It's a new IP developed by Neowiz and Round 8 Studios, which are both Korean-based dev teams responsible for a bunch of random games you've most likely never heard of. I've spent several hours on the game, so I thought I'd share some general impressions of Lies of P. Before we do that, quick disclaimer, this is not a full review seeing as I haven't completed the game, just some general impressions. Feel free to take them with a grain of salt seeing as my opinion might change upon completion. Always do your research and watch several reviews and impressions before making your $70 purchase. And with that being said, here's what you need to know before you install Lies of P. Lies of P is an action RPG that draws heavily from other Soulsborne games, specifically Bloodborne with its dark and gritty steampunk aesthetic. So yes, it's like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, and Neo. If that's not your cup of tea, just do me a favor and leave a like on the way out. But if this challenging genre is your cup of tea, then you're in for a treat. The P in Lies of P stands for Pinocchio. This game is a dark reimagining of the classic tale about the puppet who once famously said,
I'm wearing ladies' underwear.
Rarely do I find these Souls game stories to be interesting, but I must admit this one did captivate my attention. The best way I can describe it without spoiling anything crazy is think Pinocchio meets iRobot. In this world, Geppetto created puppets to help serve mankind, but eventually the puppets gain consciousness and they start wilding out. You play as Pinocchio, the one puppet that can tell a lie and hasn't lost a mind, so you set out to destroy all the evil puppets for Geppetto. I enjoy the plot, but I do wish the execution was better. There are a few cutscenes sprinkled here and there, but it seems like most of the story is told through lore and dialogue with the NPCs. I would have preferred more cutscenes, seeing as I think they crafted a really interesting twist on the classic tale, and that would have helped the game stand out more from other Souls-like games. The second thing I want to praise is the level design. You would think you'd want to rush through the grimy city of Krat, but that's not the case here, and for multiple reasons. Level design in Lies of P is top-notch. You'll come across a lot of interesting looking environments, and the developers did a great job of including verticality. It made me want to explore every nook and cranny, especially considering the fact the game rewards you for doing so. Explore, and you'll be rewarded with powerful weapons, new outfits, lore, secret bosses, and more. There's even a guy who hands out riddles like the Riddler randomly via payphones, and if you get his riddle correct, you're rewarded with keys that give you access to rooms with rare loot. I just love a game that rewards you for taking your time and enjoying the game. And all the awesome gear you receive makes the adventure a little less stressful. I say a little because this game will stress you out. It is not for the faint of heart. A lot of enemies you encounter will one-shot you, and it's been some enemies I've encountered that have insane tracking on their moves that will tilt you. That being said, I will say at the time of this recording, I have yet to feel cheated. I never once felt like I couldn't win a fight. There's just skill checks, and I recognized I needed to learn the matchup and improve my deficiencies, whether it be parrying, dodging, or just the rhythm of the fight. And when you do that, you'll feel great after winning the fight because you knew you took the time to improve and get better. It just feels very rewarding. Combat feels good for the most part. The game looks like Bloodborne, but in my opinion, it plays more like a mix between Dark Souls and Sekiro. Fighting is all about mastering the parrying system and not getting greedy on your counters. Do enough damage and then you'll stun the enemy, which opens them up for a heavy attack, which then opens them up for even more damage with a big stagger attack. Now there was a free demo that was released a few months ago, and one of the main pieces of feedback the community gave was the studio needed to improve the janky parry system. The problem with it is that the window was just too tight, so the game felt artificially difficult. I would say the parrying feels a little bit better, but it's still hard simply because of the animation. My issue with it is that the parry slash block feels like it goes from frame 1 to 100 with no frames in between. So that means you'll often either block when you're trying to parry because it's weirdly animated. Not to mention the game doesn't reward you much for parrying. You don't get health or stamina for parrying the enemy. The most you'll get is some, and the keyword is some, enemies' weapons will break if you parry them enough. The problem is that breaking their weapons can take a very long time, and sometimes dodging is just easier. From my experience, I've seen a good amount of enemy variety that will keep you on your toes. The mini and the main bosses are epic. A lot of them scale crazy. They're challenging. It feels rewarding when you complete them, but they will humble you. But I catch myself laughing more than anything. And by laugh, I mean you, the viewer, be laughing at me when I be streaming it at twitch.tv/theblack Hokage.
Stop! Stop! I'm not a pancake!
There's a good amount of weapon variety in this game. There's 40 you can find and upgrade to be exact, so I'm sure you're gonna find a playstyle that fits you. The skill tree seems deep as well, but I say it seems as I'm not that deep into the game. I'm basing this off of the menu screen being fairly large. I just can't give any input on how useful all the upgrades are. I also can't speak on the lying mechanic. Yes, you can tell lies in this game. It's Pinocchio. During certain moments of the story, you're given a chance to tell the truth or a lie. I've done this a couple times, but I can't really tell how much this affects the outcome of the story yet, seeing as I'm only a few hours in. But if anyone can, feel free to speak on it in the comment section below. What I can tell you is that Lies of P is optimized across all platforms. It runs buttery smooth on PC and console, and I have yet to encounter any crazy game-breaking bugs or glitches. This game is a fun take on the Souls-like genre that implements just enough original ideas to make itself stand out from other clones. Just know before you install Lies of P, you're gonna need 50 gigs of hard drive space on your PC and 36 on your console. If you own Game Pass, Lies of P is available for you for free to download, so make sure to take advantage of that. I really like this game. It doesn't shock me it's sitting at an 80-ish average Metacritic overall. Just curious to see where this game sits with me by the end of the year. I could see this one being one of my top 10 games in 2023, but if it is, I don't see it being in my top 5. We'll see. Only time will tell. Until then, do me a favor and check out my previous episode of Before You Install on Starfield. I've got some interesting thoughts on Bethesda's big new RPG, and if you want to hear them, you can do that right now by clicking the card on the screen and hooking a brother up with some more of that watch time.